Hello, Quad Flying Fun here, and today I'm going to detail how I converted this Parkzone Ultra Micro Mustang into a 2S brushless system. It's really quite easy, and I'll list all the parts in the description so anybody that's interested in doing this conversion can do that. The first thing you have to have is this right here. This is a receiver, UMX receiver out of a Beast 3D. There's several different UMX planes that have this receiver. I'll list the specific part number for it so you get the right one. But you can see it has these two micro servos right here. One's for your rudder and one is for your elevator. As you can see down in here, these Mustangs have one servo that works the ailerons, and it's down in there, so you don't have to have. And this receiver has the capability of, it has another port right here that you can actually use if you want to put retractable landing gear on this guy, and that is my plans for this plane eventually, is to develop a set of retracting landing gear. Got some ideas, got a friend that's got a 3D printer, and I'm going to start on that shortly. But like I said, you just mount your receiver right here, and as you can see, I just mounted it right on the rails here to get it flat and square. Now the main thing is you want to get the axes correct on it. If you get this crooked in here, like if this receiver's turned one way or the other, or if it's angled one way or the other, the AS3X will not work properly. It will throw it off and the model won't fly correctly, so you have to make sure you do that. And I actually had to cut out a little bit of the foam. This is where the original receiver would go, was right here. I had to cut out a little bit of piece of that to get this to set down straight and level onto the fuselage there to do that. Now the only other things you have to do, what I did, I just started with a complete new airframe. I bought this from Horizon Hobby. It was like 60 bucks for the airframe, and they send you new rods for your to connect your rudder and your elevator, and you have to cut them and size them properly, but that's not hard to do. They just give you shrink wrap, and these are carbon rods up here. You just clip them off. You clip off about, it was about 1.5 inches of each one, and pretty easy setup there. The ailerons, actually, like I said, that's straightforward. You just have to have a servo for down there, because when you get the wing, it doesn't have the servo on it. It's a bare wing. It just has the bell crank in here, and that's it. Now the other part of this is this brushless motor up here. This is a 2500 kV BL180. Like I said, I will include that in the description box so you know which motor to get, but there's 3 of them that will work. I may eventually go up to the 3000 kV depending on the performance of this guy. So now the propeller that I use, this is a bigger propeller than what comes on these. This is the prop off of the UMX E-Flite UMX P47, and actually it looks way more scale than the original props that these come with. Now to mount that, what I did, I took a piece of 3/32 plywood. You can see it right here, and I'll tip it up this way so you can see it in the end here. That's just a piece of 3/32 plywood that I cut and filed to fit inside of here. Now you're probably wondering, these come with a deflection this way to make them fly correctly. You can see that this is mounted, it has the same deflection. Got lucky, the original motor mount, where it goes, you can see them 4 holes. It's like a little plastic block that sets down in here with the motor in it. Well, they've got the deflection made into that. Well, it's the same. If you just mount your this up against that back here in the back, it automatically gives you the correct deflection. Then the only thing you have to do is just get the proper height inside of here, and not hard to do. I got that, measured it, and then I just glued it in. And I'll tell you, the glue that I use with these planes is this right here. This stuff, it's good glue to use. It's a silicone glue, and the reason I like using it is when you glue this foam with it, it has good adhesion, it holds really well, but then if you do crash or something happens, you have to remove something, you can cut it away really easily with a razor knife because it doesn't set up hard, and that's a key to working with these foam models. And I really like this glue. Again, I'll hold this up here. It's GE premium silicone glue. So if you're ever working with any of these foam models and you need a good glue, that's what they use basically in the factory, like any of the WL Toys or the Parkzone or E-Flite. When they put in their servos and stuff, this is what they use to put them in with. And I like using it on the receivers with the AS3X because it does have some vibration dampening qualities to it. It's not gluing it hard to the model, so if you get an excessive vibration, it's not going to throw off your gyros in your receiver. But one other thing that I did, now I had to cut out the canopy. You can see here, if you're familiar with these models, where the receiver's setting, I had to trim back the canopy just a little bit where it's marked there. You can see that clearly on here. One other thing that I'm doing, since I'm mounting the battery's going to go up here instead of underneath the bottom. The model will look a lot cleaner, and actually in the wintertime when it's cold, the battery being in here will be better because it can generate a little bit of heat, and it's not going to drastically affect its performance. It'll still affect it, but not as bad. So with that said, I have to be able to get this on and off all the time, and I don't want to tape it. I just don't like doing that on these models. So what I come up with here, see these little dots back here? Let me get this to focus. That's actually little neodymium magnets that I put in here. There's two up here in the front, and then you can see the ones back here. There's two in there, and there's two over here. And I marked them. You see the little dots on them. I mark them so you get the correct orientation on them with the north and the souths, because if you don't want to put it together and then have two souths and two norths, because it would repel instead of hold it together. And I'll tell you, they are very strong. When you snap it in place, I mean, it really locks it down. If I have any problems with it coming off, I've got this, I took a drill bit and opened some holes up here. I may put a couple more in here, but right now I'm going to try it without it because they're really strong. I mean, the ones on the back hold really tenaciously. I tried using some hook and loop up here, Velcro, and it just didn't work out. It wouldn't close properly, and I didn't like it, so I'm going to go with the magnets up there also. But now this particular model, what I'm going to do with it, I found a company that will actually make you any decals that you want. Now these come, I've got my other model here. Okay, this is my first one that I did. You can see it's the version that comes from Parkzone. It's called Meg, it's a good looking plane. Don't get me wrong. But I wanted to try to do some custom stuff also. So what I'm going to do with this, and I can do any plane that there is. I found a company, it's called Callie-Graphics. They will make any decals that you want in the correct scale for this model. So what I'm doing, this one here, I'm going to turn it into the one that's called the Big Beautiful Doll. So if you ever look it up on the internet, it is a beautiful airplane. It's got checkerboard on the nose. The spinner is half black and half white, and it's got checkerboard on the wings. And I'm getting ready to start painting this. The tail, the rudder is actually black, and then you have the checkerboard on the wings, and it says Big Beautiful Doll on the side of it. So that's what this version is going to be. I'm going to almost be scared to take this out and fly it after I get it done because I don't want to crash it and tear it up. But 12 bucks for the decals, I think that is awesome. Like I said, the airframe cost me, I think it was $56 for the wing, the fuselage, and the tail assembly. I wanted to get everything new and just start with a clean slate. What else? The motor. Now, if you did this new, now I bought my motor. I was on RC Groups, and I found a guy that had crashed a Beast, a UMX Beast, and he sold me the motor and the brick and 2 servos for $35, and you can't beat that. But if you were to do this as a straight up build, it would probably cost you, with the paint and the decals, probably about $110. So really, I see these selling on eBay in the 1S system for $100 anyway. So really, if you're going to build it, it's not going to cost you that much more. And it's going to be so nice because I can make this with the decals. I can make this any version I want. Any nose art or anything that I want. This company, they say if they don't have it, they can find it. So that's really awesome. But that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to post them down in the box below. And I hope everybody enjoyed this video. And until the next time, see ya. Bye.